Hello, Louisville. Guess who's coming to dinner? Hello, Louisville. Welcome back to Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. You know, Louisville is a city that is full of very interesting people. This is a city full of personality. You ought to know that by knowing that, you know, the personality that was big and bold enough to represent the whole city, like Muhammad Ali. So, but tonight, we have a gentleman who's on the front lines, fighting the fight and standing up for justice, community organizer, community activist, none other than Mr. Neal Robertson. What's up, my brother?
Hey, what's going on, Janice? Thank you very much, and it's a pleasure for me to be a part of your podcast.
Well, I'm glad to have you. You
I'm
know,
glad to
because
be here.
Neal Robertson got a whole lot to say about a whole lot of things, you know. So the show is a conversation about racism and finding some solutions. And I know that you've been down to Justice Square. Is it Justice Square or Injustice Square?
Well, they call it both.
Yeah, they call it both. That's what I kind of thought. Tell me about moving the memorial from Justice Square to Roots.
Oh, wow, that was a fantastic time, and being able to be a part of it was also, it's basically was history in the making, and I was so glad that I was a part of that, to be able to be out, march with the people, and be a part of the people.
So now that it's down there, how do we have access to it? It's going inside, or it's still just the meeting place?
It's inside of Roots 101, and people will be able to come up there to view it, look at it, and hear some stories behind it.
What is that address, Neal, for Roots 101?
It's 819 West Main.
819 West Main. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the building that has the mural on the side of it?
The mural on the side.
There, I went to a women's march up on West Main, and it seemed like that's where it was right at the corner of 8th and Main.
No, it's not in the corner. It's like it's next door to Frazier's History Museum.
Oh, next door to Frazier.
And across the street from the Sluggers Field. Not Sluggers Field, but the baseball, where they make the baseball bats. Yeah.
So now, how are things moving, Neal, with the protest? As far as are they still going on every day, or are they just intermittent for certain reasons, or how's that happening?
Well, actually, they've been still mobilizing and moving in different locations. Mm-hmm. Some of them start up, even one that started up on Dixie Highway. They're going from different locations of our city to let everybody see what's going on. The one that's not out there fighting with us, I guess.
Okay. I also saw that you were present when they were passing out the turkeys over at Reverend Elliott's church.
Oh, yes.
And I want to know, are there other things going on, other programs going on for outreach to the community for those in need? Tell me about how. I know you're always involved, and I know you and your wife were a part of giving away some food at a site. So tell us about some of that, and if any of that is coming up for the Christmas season.
Yeah, I'm sure that will be coming up. But one thing about it, I get calls probably in the fourth quarter of the game for me to come down and help out, or if I could come meet them there, or if they even think it's a good place to be.
Okay.
And I go from there. So a lot of times I don't even know until the day of. Right. And sometimes they let me know ahead of time.
Right, because you go live and you're the newscaster in the field for it.
Absolutely. Somebody have to do it.
You love doing it too, don't you?
Why not? You know what? If God got me here to do that, I'm gonna do it. I can't get into what other people think about what I'm doing or how I'm always doing it, or if I'm doing too much or too less, I can't get into that. I move when God tell me to move. If that makes sense to you.
That's when you're supposed to move.
Yeah,
That's when
because a
you're
lot of
supposed to
times
move.
I don't even know why I'm there when I'm doing what I'm doing. You know,
Say you don't know. You just the spirit moved you, huh?
absolutely, and I'm going to be there. Like when the guy got killed the other night. Well, I'll say when the guy got murdered the other night. I get a
Travis.
call. Yes, I get a call in the weed of the night to come up there, and I sat out there with them till 4:30 in the morning to try to figure out just what happened. Why is this man dead?
Right.
You know, we still haven't answered these questions because even at the scene of the crime, when the police, they come do their thing before anybody else come.
Right.
The witness of the murder was not present with the police, but yet was present with us. Right. So we're basically interrogating her, asking her what happened, how, why, and it's not adding up. And that young man was out doing a lot of things in the community. Yeah, not only for Breonna Taylor, but for the welfare of our Louisville. Right. And a lot of people don't appreciate you when you're doing things like that. Right. So you know what the naysayers say. They don't want you doing some of the things that's going to stop them from being relevant. And then, especially when you're exposing the fact that, hey, these people are not who I thought they were. But one thing's for certain, I'm who you thought I were. Okay. I hear you. So tell me, what do you think? How is COVID affecting the everyday family in this city, in Louisville? How do you are you seeing any of that? Are you getting calls about that? Or tell me about your ear to the ground on that. Well, one thing's for certain, it's real. One of my wife's girlfriend's brother just passed from it today as we speak it. Right. And we want to let him know that the Robertson family, we're praying for him and their family to make sure that they can get by. It's rough. Right. It's very real. And as you see people out in the day, who would have thought that a mask would have been relevant? Opposed to, imagine someone getting out of prison who was a stick-up boy. Then he coming home and he's seeing everybody's mask up. Yeah. It's a different world for him, which is a different world for us also. Yeah. So it's real. And we've done a summit called COVID-19 Educational Summit. Okay. And what they was basically saying, the three things to make sure that you mask up, make sure that you stay 6 feet, and make sure you wash your hands. Right. These are things that's relevant to us. Not saying that we weren't doing some of these things beforehand, like washing your hands. Right. Hopefully we were doing that on a regular basis. Yeah. Right. So, right. Yeah. So it's very real, and a lot of people are getting sick behind it, and a lot of people are dying. Right. Right. So it's sad. Our numbers keep going up. They keep going up. Very sad. So let me ask you, when are we ever going to feel safe behind it, though? I don't know. 6 months from now, a year from now, when is it going to be safe? After you get a shot? Well, and that's not saying everybody, if they don't want to put on a mask, half of them don't want to get vaccinated. Well, you know what, though, to believe it or not, and I'm not taking up for the guys that's not wearing masks and don't want to get vaccinated. If you lived in America for as long as you and I lived there, right, you would understand some of the things that just don't add up, and you don't want to be a part of it because you don't trust America. Right. See, I'm seeing people die. I know COVID's real, but yet I don't trust America. So yes, I don't want the shot. Yes, I'm not wearing your mask. Yes, I'm not listening to you. Yes, I'm going around my family. We're having big parties and big time and big funds because sometimes you look up and somebody else is gone. Right. Not only from COVID, but from other things also, because keep in mind, we have that going on and we're still fighting the fight on black crime. Talk about that. Talk about that. I'm not mad at the fact that, because white people are killing white people, Spanish people killing Spanish people. My concern is black people killing black people. Right. For whatever reason. And a lot of it stems from economics. We don't have the opportunity or the economic balance like other ethnic groups of people. And I know you probably say, yeah, yes, we do. We can work. But every time we go to do these things, there's always underlining things that happens to us. Like the boss don't like the fact, even if you come to work on time every day, right, there's something else that's wrong. Right. And it's always keeps going on like that, and it's affecting a lot of African American men. And I'm not taking anything away from the black woman who's been out here fighting and doing what they're doing, and but I'm talking about the African American man,
right,
who's out here every day trying his best to raise a family and be a part of the family and be in with the family, but yet there's things that's behind the scenes that's keeping them from doing that. And I know you probably say, well, everybody can get a job. Anybody? No, they can't. No, they can't. And then some people feel like, man, I'm tired of washing and mopping floors. Just provide for my family. At some point, step me up. Let me take out the trash, at least, at some point. But yet they're not even seeing the value of the black man.
right.
And then even our own people, our sisters, are not seeing the value of the black man. And nobody's seeing the struggle of the black man. Not saying that the black woman been struggling and blah, 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 everything else. But I'm talking about, let's specifically look at the black man. Where yes, they killed Breonna Taylor, which was a black woman. But if you really think about it, the whole fight is against black men. Either you're joining in with them or you're coming with us. What part is it? What do you want to do? Either you with us or you with them. And I'm making it, I'm giving that a fair assessment in terms of the way that you look at me. Meaning, not saying you, but
Put your hands down. Put your hands down. I can't see you. Yeah.
Okay. You see my face. I didn't want you to see that. A tear rolled in my eye. And I wiped it. I didn't want you to see it. You know why? Because it's sad. And the sad part is the fact that every day I wake up, not only do I have to fight the white man, the Japanese man, the Korean man, I have to fight against my black woman, the white woman, and everybody else that don't like black men. Because, see, they understand what maybe you forgot, that we are kings. And you don't even look at us like that anymore. You know why? Because you fed into everything that they told you about Neal. Meaning.
You mean you're saying people in general that you're saying women in general? Are you making you're making a general statement here?
I'm just making a general statement. I don't want to sit here fighting and arguing with women, especially my sister and them, because y'all tough. Y'all beat me every time. You know the art of that. Okay. I don't want to argue with you. I don't even want to fight with you because my fight is bigger than you. If that makes sense to you. There's a lot of people out there that every day I know I have to fight against. Every day that I have to cover myself to make sure that I have my bulletproof vest on, my goggles, and everything else that's going to take for me to win and be victorious toward these people.
But you're covered. You're covered in your spirit.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what you never notice why Neal. Things happen to me, and it's going to continue to happen to me. But one thing I already understand is, like, even in my family, in this house right now, we're covered because we already prayed. God protect us, and we left it alone because he already heard our cry. So we don't have to say anything else. Every day, God, did you hear me? We don't even have to say that. We already said it. So you come in here, you're good. You can take your mask off, and you can take a deep breath.
Breathe.
And feel at home.
You can breathe. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I just felt like, I know I've interviewed a lot of different individuals in the city, because I believe that this city has voices all around from all walks of life that need to be heard, and not just the voices that we see and that are out front sometimes, or that take leadership roles, whether they were chosen or not chosen, but speak for us. But I know there are other voices that speak for a closer situation to the people. That's a real down, stand up kind of brother like you.
Thank you very much.
And so that's why I wanted your take on a few things about the pandemic, about how do you see us dealing with the black on black crime, Neal? Let me say this before, I'm gonna preface that, because I always notice that after there has been a murder in the city, that there's someone that the family can call on. But I'm curious as to why there is no safety net, or a step, or a person, or an agency, or whatever, that can be set up that if you know that there's an underlying beef going on with your child, with friends of your children, because sometimes when we don't say it, when we see something and don't say something and something happens, it's always kind of like, I knew something wasn't right. I knew something wasn't right. Why? I think we need, Neal, somebody that parents can say, come talk to my child, or can I bring my child to talk to you? You know what I'm saying? So that we can kind of squash the beef, saying, if they can come to you, Neal, then say, okay, then let me reach out to the family that your child is beefing with. Because we don't want these mothers mourning the death of their children. So there has to be some kind of conflict resolution before they take it in their own hands. What do you
I
think
agree.
about that?
I agree with you 100%, but it goes back to what I was talking about when I said that nobody sees the strength and power in the black man anymore. So what woman wants to take their child to another black man when she don't even see the strength or the value of that black man?
But we
She
gotta we
don't
gotta
see it.
find a way to get past that, because we
Well,
gotta help our children. How we
I
gonna help our
agree.
children?
I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. So the change is going to have to start with you, meaning the woman. The black man is who they are. Don't get me wrong. I know a lot of them are not in the homes. A lot of them may not be taking care of their family or not. A lot of them might be doing this or that. But trust me and believe, they want to be doing these things. They just don't know how to get back with the woman that birthed
So
their
you're saying
children.
we need to have a confab with black men and black women, face to face, vis-a-vis, working out whatever issues black men
Absolutely.
feel that they have with their woman.
Absolutely. Look around the city. There's not a whole lot of black men that's in positions of, I'll say use the word power.
Okay.
When really there's no power for us anyway in this city. But the jobs are being held down by the woman. They'll let you work with it because you're easier to work with than me. You know why? Because I'm gonna contest some of the
You
things that
think
aren't
so?
right. I'm pretty sure. Trust me, you and me,
Okay.
they're gonna do it every time. They should, because I'm gonna contest what they're doing. If something's not right, I'm gonna make sure that, and you'll do these same things, but not to the magnitude of what or the way that I'm gonna do them. You'll leave the cussing out, the scream. You may say it in a way where they understand the way you feel, but it's just it's different when a white man come in and say, okay, I have the hard power. Either I'll hard this double minority or I'll hard this guy here that if he figure out or find out that things are not right, he's going to say something.
But so how can
So
how can how can how can I'm talking about, I want to go back to, how can the black man and the black woman address what seems to be, uh, as you describe it, that there is some tension, or a lack of respect for who our black brothers are.
okay.
How can we address that?
Well, that issue's been going on for years, and it all really started with the women's movement, should
Okay.
we say, when white women couldn't vote because they were white women, and black women joined forces with them on this women's movement power.
Suffragists.
Yeah, absolutely, but when actually it didn't have anything to do with you. It was about white women who couldn't vote. You couldn't vote because you were black. And never, ever underestimate the fact that when you go to do something such as that, you cutting off black men. I ain't saying stand up for women power or women power, but I always remember stand up for black women power. Because every time you join the movement of the woman movement, you're joining white women. And they at the top of the game, they don't have you there. But in the middle, oh, sure, you can come fight with us.
So you're
Sure.
saying after all this time, anything that we have done to bring us closer, if so, we're not any closer than we were, even though the sisters back in the day that upheld women's suffrages, they didn't still get, when they put it through that women could vote, it still wasn't black women. We know that.
Absolutely, because black
We
people couldn't vote. Remember?
okay, we know that part.
When they say black men or black women can't vote, they say blacks can't vote at all.
Period. Right.
Period.
Period.
Okay.
Right.
But whites could vote. Only
Right.
except the fact if you're a woman, you can't.
Right.
So where they were smart, they said, shoot, let's reach out and get these numbers. Let's get these sisters screaming with us. So it came to a point where you're screaming so much and so loud against the way white women the way women are being treated, you forgot the fact of screaming for the way black people are being treated, if that makes sense to you. You see what I'm saying? Because you're fighting for that, and you're fighting hard, and you're fighting really, really well and good for them. But what you're going to do when you come on back?
Sounds like you want to say we're kind of walking in place, Neal. We're not making movement. We're just walking in place.
How are we moving? Look at the situation. It's 2020, and look at everything we haven't achieved in America yet.
But the family unit. So you're saying our family unit is still as disenfranchised as it was a long time ago when we were separated?
Absolutely. Look at it. That's why the crime. They says a lot of young people are killing each other now and fighting each other because they don't have this structure at home. Or even if the guys wasn't home, we knew when my grandmother said, "I'm going to call your uncle," we knew to straighten up,
right?
Because we respected him, and she respected him enough as a man to put that in our face to say, "Hey, if you don't get yourself together, Uncle Howard will be here."
Right. Right.
Yeah, and we knew to straighten up at that point. Now, Neal's 14 now, right? You better get yourself together, but they're not going to mention Uncle Howard anymore because the relevancy of men has faded out. Black men.
I can understand what you're saying. I don't agree with you.
You don't have to. That's why.
No, I don't agree with you because I think we work very hard to make our blackness as relevant to our men as it is to ourselves.
Okay. So, and that okay, maybe so, but when are you gonna come fight with me, sister?
How you mean? When am I gonna come? I fight with you all the time.
Not you per se, just women in general. We're talking.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So we need a round table. We need a round table
because there's too many issues that we need to try to fix in order. And then we also have to, in the midst of that, we don't have the luxury of stop working on the black on black crime. Working on how can we get, and which is very simple. I know when that economic, like they say, it's 30 times wealth gap between black and white.
Right.
And they're not going to dial it down. Trust me. They're not going to dial it down to 27. They're going to keep moving on like they're moving. But what are we doing? What are we building together? But we don't even own businesses in our own community. You go to every other community, they own businesses in that community. You go in the black community, everybody else is sucking blood from the black community than black people. Well, let me rephrase that because there's a lot of black people who's helping them do that because that makes them live in a bigger house and drive a better car. So they're going to continue to do it. So there's a lot of issues that we have to talk about, and we're going to have to come together as one to try to create just what we can do to fix these things. Because guess what? Look around. You've been around. Yeah. And when you come back around and go back around, it's going to be the same song.
So we need to. So you're saying, in essence, that we're not at this point in time. We are not speaking with one voice.
No, we're not. Yeah, and that's our problem. Even when we go to vote, everybody goes get their own personal band. I voted, but suppose the band say we voted, and they come out with one band, and 60,000 people are sitting there saying, "Hey guys, we're rolling with the independents this year." Because they said we're gonna do X, Y, Z, but you won't. Guess why? Because your mother's mother told you to become a Democrat, and that was the best thing that you should be able to do because they're the only ones that are going to help black people. And if you look around, nobody has helped black people to this point. Black people haven't even helped black people. Then as soon as we get some money, man, as soon as we get money, we move out there by Ballard High School and all these other places. As soon as the money get wrong, right in Parkville. As soon as I got a piece of money, I moved out there by the Ballard High School with the big McDonald's.
That's after living in the park.
Okay.
Yeah, so Choices. We have choices. Used to be a time in our lives, Neal, we didn't have choices.
Okay. Do you really still have choices?
And choices to feel safer in one place rather than another. That's a
Wow.
choice.
But let me ask you a question. So how can you feel safe? And I ain't talking about you, I'm talking about anybody. Moving out there with white people when they wrote on the on your garage, move out, nigga. Can I say nigga on here? Okay, well I just did. Anyway, move out, nigga. You see what I'm saying? So how can you feel safer when you don't know if the very person who speaks to you every morning could be the one that's about to bash in your?
But so this is kind of, let me say this to you. I had a friend call me from overseas. She's North African Welsh, but over here she would be considered black. And that's, if you're from Wales, basically most of the people in Wales are not white, they are black. And she was saying to me trying to tell me about the things that she knew about America, that we believed, that blacks believed in. And she was saying, so how can you live like that? And it comes kind of back around to what you're saying now. How can I can't walk around being consumed with how my surroundings will affect my movement, my everyday life. Because if I am a creature of faith, if I am a Christian, I have hope in my life. And I'm going to keep pushing love. But if I don't have no hope, there's no existence if you don't have hope, Neal. You can't just, if everything's all broken up and we can't find a way to fix it, but we've got to have some hope that we're going to fix it one day, because we keep having dialogue like this. I'm not going to live in fear. I don't care if I live in the West or the East or the North or the South, in New York or Mississippi. I'm not going to live in fear. And we have learned how to not live in fear. You know, we have to live with the situation that's presented to us, with hope that it will get better. But there's no way. We would just fade and die.
Well, on the other side of that, there's people that's not understanding the hope business like you're talking about, or even love at this point, basing it on everything that happened to us back in history, even up until today. So, yeah, we have hope, but to be honest with you, we don't. Yeah, we want to love you, but guess what? You won't let us, because I'm basing it on everything that you've done to us, everything that you're doing to us at this point. I don't want to, guess what? I'm not going to love you. I'm saying this.
Okay.
I'm not going to love you if you keep doing these hateful things to me. I don't love my enemies. I don't. The way you were talking. And I just felt a whole nother family who feel the same way that I feel. They don't love the enemy. Okay. They're not going to let you hit them and turn the other cheek. Because if they hit me, I'm going to smack the hell out of them. You can trust and believe that. I'm not coming here to settle things with you or to be nice with you at this point. Look at everything that's happened to us, and the only thing we can come to you and say, brother, I still love you. I'm still having hope that you're going to stop discriminating against me, and one day you open the land of opportunity up to me. No, I'm not even doing that no more. And like I told you, it's a whole other group of people that feels the same way I feel. I'm not here to be liked. I don't want you to like me. Guess what? Because I'm subject to do anything. I'm subject to not even be with you. Because if you're not on the side of what's really right in God's eye, then you're not on my side. I don't care what man say about loving you and being with you. I'm watching you, and then that determines how much I love and care about you. I'm not going to let you hit me and I turn the other cheek. I'm not doing those things, because those things never been good for black people. We've been in slavery for how long? And every day while I was picking cotton, guess what I was doing? I was praying and begging Jesus to please stop this man from running in my house and raping my wife.
Right.
Taking my little boy and taking him to Mississippi, and I live in Kentucky. Taking him for me coming to church to listen to a preacher preach, and maybe he didn't say the right things that the overseer in the back came to hear him say and told him to say, and publicly flogged him in front of the congregation. I'm not here for that. Those days are over. Louisville will never be the same again in regards to the way they've been treating us in this Commonwealth state, the things they've been doing to us. Yes, economically, they're holding us in bondage right now because they know every time you look up, they're the people we have to go to for the jobs, right? Mm-hmm. So what makes you think I'm going to hire Janice and she's speaking out against me as a white man?
So listen, let me go here. This is where I want to go. So how do we move forward?
Well, we've been talking and discussing that since Martin Luther King died. So I suggest.
I thought maybe you might have some ideas that we haven't come up with yet.
Okay, so if you let me finish, I'm going to tell you my ideas. Well, you might not like it. You might not like them. You definitely might not like them because one thing about it, like I said, we were the nicest people in the world. You know that. You know how Black people are. You know what we are. We kind-hearted. We love each other. We praise the God.
Forgiving.
We loving. Very forgiving. Ooh, and that is one of our biggest problems. But anyway, we won't forgive one another, though. We're forgiving for everything they've done to us. Oh, let's forget about that. I'm not forgetting about that. That's not forgetting about that. It's like somebody coming in here robbing me.
Okay. But I'm still trying to get to a point that, so what can we do?
Well, the only thing that we have to do, you ready? We have to, some kind of ways, when I say seize power, we have to seize power. And it's not from the people that you're thinking about. Those loving guys that walk in back of the church every day, really nice and so splendid. We need somebody that's going to be speaking up for us in the room. Mm-hmm. Not nobody's going to say, well, I'm just going to wait till tomorrow and I'm going to figure out what's going on. And no. We're going to deal with the problem right there while we're in the room. And if you can't do that or be a part of it, get the hell out of our way. Because no longer will we sit around and wait for council person blah, blah, senator blah, blah, our House of Representative blah, blah, to take care of us. Because we already know that they're not. They're not.
Actually, Neal, we've been kind of, every household has kind of been, as my mother used to say, every boat floats on its own bottom. And whether it's a Democrat or a Republican, when we get to a political thing, it's always been us that we have learned how to survive. We have learned how to, under the worst circumstances, you may not agree with me, but I'm still, we're not there yet. You know, every year, every day is another chance to move forward.
Okay. Well, guess what? The buck stops here. It's already, guess what? We're not no longer thinking that way anymore.
Okay. Well,
we're gonna move.
That's
we're
you.
Gonna move.
Okay.
No, it's not just, I'm not just speaking on behalf of Neal Robertson. See, like I just told you that I have a group of people that's rolling with me that thinks like me. No longer will we be slapped around, beaten down, and then we're begging for things. No, we're demanding things that we should have.
Yeah.
That we should have. So they always look around and they'll come to me and say, "Damn, OG, you cool." The rest of them, I'm like, hold on, what you mean the rest of them? They'll say the older people, all they want to do blah. And I'm like, you know what? I have to agree with you. And they was like, well, what makes you different? And I told them, and they was like, oh wow, and they get it. And they get it. But here goes the thing, we've been doing this game for so long, it's hard to come out of it and say, hey, let's do a new game. Let's start a new game.
So Neal, what I'm going to say to you is, I'd like to sit down with you when the new game gets started. Because I want to, this is dialogue. This is a situation where I wanted your voice to be heard.
Oh, okay. Well, great.
Great. And you to express where you are and how you see things, because I have other people come on to express where they are and how they see things.
And keep in mind,
when you put that meeting together, or you all gather with those people, I'd love to be in the room. I don't want to be a fly on the wall, but I want to hear. I want to understand. So at this point, I'm going to say I thank you so very much for sharing with me.
Okay.
Because we're not gonna fix it here today. I just, you know.
Oh, it's already fixed. It's already fixed. We've already moving.
Okay, all right.
You know, can you figure out that the only city that's still protesting, still holding down
Right.
a partial part of our city, one of the most glamorous parts of our city, and they can't do anything about it. But keep in mind, the police are still not only here but other places murdering black people, hanging black people.
As we speak.
All we're gonna say is, it's gonna get better. No, we're gonna fix it now because we're tired of those things being done to us as a people, and we're tired of our own people not standing up with us or not standing in the gap for us because they don't understand the new movement.
Okay.
Because of the way maybe we did things back in the day. These kids are doing things that's phenomenal things. I mean,
totally different approach. I understand that.
The best approach.
Okay.
The best approach. Yeah, the best approach. They're willing to die today for justice and equality. Well, some people don't want to. You're going away from that.
I believe a whole lot of us will die for our freedom or our rights. And I think we'll keep fighting for it.
Yeah.
We'll fight for our blackness.
No. I'm talking about.
What time is it? It's time.
No, not what time it is. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We came up with this. It says it's time to clean house. Yes, and that's our slogan for the next up and coming election, which you'll see because you mentioned the Democrats and Republicans, but you didn't remember all the black independent Tea Partiers that's coming through your town real soon. It's going to be a part of the election, and we're independent. We can go on for ourselves, or we can go with the Republicans, or we can go with the Democrats. Who's going to do something for us? Sign this paper right here. We got 60,000 people rolling with us.
Right.
Well, we don't have quite those numbers yet, but it's coming. And we won't be stopped because every time we do something and we pray to God and they'll do something dumb. You know why?
Well, I'll be back to check in with you. I'll be here to come back and check in with you.
Real soon.
My blessings, peace be unto you, my brother.
Yeah. Power to the people.
Right on.
God bless you and God bless America.
Thank you, sweetie. I love you.
Love you more. Neal. Yes.
Bye-bye. All right now. That was Mr. Neal Robertson. If you didn't hear it before, you heard it here. And strong young brother in the community, working for change, going to make a difference, already making a difference. So my hat goes off to Neal that everybody's not willing to stand up and speak truth to power. But there are those that know how and those that do. So on that note, I want to say thanks for joining us. It's dinner time somewhere, so bon appetit. Guess who's coming to dinner? See you next time.